My name is John Penquet, and this is Ultimate Landlord. Ultimate Landlord is a place and the company that focuses relentlessly on facts, data, market intelligence, and real-world experiences in the property industry. Now, if you're serious about investment, you need serious, relevant information. Get-rich-quick schemes are not for you. You know your goals and your purpose. You're a high performer, you focus on investing, and you need the latest information to stay on top of your game. Ultimate Landlord is here for people like you, people who do this. No get rich quick, more get rich smart. Ultimate Landlord is the place for you to realise your full potential as a property investor. Okay, hi everybody. This week's podcast, I'm really excited and pleased that I'm joined by two really good friends and sort of real leaders in property. I've got Gill and Steph Owens, who are absolutely awesome at what they do. And I think in these difficult times, it's really good to listen to people who have a real breadth of experience in property and listen to their experiences and their journey, both before, during, and after COVID lockdown. So welcome, guys. It's lovely to have you on the podcast.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
So, what have you been up to, aside from locking yourself away?
It depends how far you want us to go back, obviously. So at the moment, I've just been made redundant with COVID. So It's given me the opportunity now to literally go self-employed, because we've been doing this now for we've been landlords for 16 years, but we've been doing this, quite vigorously for the last 4, but Steph's been doing it mainly on his own.
Yeah.
So this has now given me the opportunity to kick up the backside to actually go self-employed and help him out. And I'm also looking to do a rent-to-rent and service accommodation business.
Wow.
And Steph's still ploughing along, sourcing.
Yeah, enjoying the sourcing. It's getting rather difficult at this moment, where before COVID I was doing a load of viewings because the dirty, smelly, swirly carpet ones were out there. People seem to be buying them all up now, so it's getting really difficult at the moment.
Yeah. It's bizarre, isn't it? Because when we were sort of pre-lockdown and during lockdown, all of the all the sort of celebrity figures were talking about, the market's going to crash, and the Bank of England was saying, you know what, the market's going to fall 16%. And I think there was publications in the Telegraph and various different newspapers. There was also posts in This Is Money saying the housing market's going to crash. And we know, I mean, it's October now, isn't it? So, we know that that's just not true. In fact, the exact opposite has happened, isn't it? And you see it firsthand. So just for the benefit of everyone listening and watching, Steph is just has this unique way about himself. He's incredibly good at finding those properties that nobody else wants, but with a bit of love and a bit of investment, I can see a significant uplift in value. And interesting to hear that you're finding though even those types of property just not really available to us at the moment.
Not at the moment, no. And there's a lot of people buying them and buying them well above the offer price. Yeah, so when they've been offered we got one at the moment offered at 60, which is the asking price. We put in the asking price because the figures work, and it's at £83,000 now.
I would put the asking price in. Normally, we're actually buying one ourselves at the moment. We put in £3,000 over the asking price just to get it off the market, and we've never done that in the last 4 years ever.
No, and I think I do think that there's going to be a lot more of that. I mean, at the time of recording this, we've just had the Tory party conference where they've announced that they're going to push 95% mortgages for first-time buyers, and that's just going to get more and more people entering into the market in what were traditionally the entry points for us as property investors, as buy-to-let investors. So it's going to be quite interesting. But I think you guys are in a particularly strong position because you've got absolutely amazing relationships with estate agents. How do you do it?
Chocolate biscuits, John. Somebody once told me chocolate biscuits, and they have to be chocolate hobnobs.
Do they now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I went down the shop and bought some chocolate biscuits, it'd work. It'd work, yeah. But you've cultivated that over years, haven't you? you've really worked with estate agents where other people just walk away. I think your tenacity.
The relationship at the moment, John, what was it? We've got Peacock Property Sourcing, as you know. I'm not known as Mr. Peacock, but with the estate agents in the valleys, I'm known as Mr. Smelly.
Yeah.
So that then stands out. So when I go in and say I'm Stephen Owens, you know me as Mr. Smelly, because I buy the dirty, smelly, swirly carpet properties. That's the relationship I build up. And I do it to every estate agent. I'm Mr. Smelly. Have you got any?
Yeah, he does.
Love it.
I can vouch for that.
And do you know what? We get too serious in property, don't we? It's just sort of like, this is you go into an estate agent, you go like, this is my business plan, this is my briefing document, this is what I'm looking, this is the price range I'm looking at, this is how much yield I want, this is how much ROI I want. And the poor estate agent is just like, I can't even be bothered. You've overwhelmed me already. Whereas you go in for, you know, chocolate biscuit, I bet it does work. I bet a nice little treat when you go in. And how can you be remembered? Because, you know, we all think we're the only property investor that estate agent should be dealing with. But the truth of the matter is, and I know having been an estate agent myself, there are absolutely stacks of property investors phoning up these estate agents all the time, and they just become white noise, they become vanilla, and you just don't get recognized. So I think your approach, Steph, and I know you joke about it a lot, but you know what? It's bloody powerful. That is really powerful, having that identity that people can relate to and remember.
Yeah, the other thing that he does do, when he rings up to book a viewing, if the estate agent said, sorry, it's sold, he actually congratulates them. He always says, oh, that's amazing, well done. You know, that's cracking. You know, did you get it for asking price? He has a chat with them and he's really, really positive. And they can't believe it. They used to people sort of going, oh, damn, you know, I missed it. But instead of that, he literally does, he congratulates them and then he starts another conversation with them. It's really great.
And that again, that's powerful because I think for estate agents, it's a really thankless task. It's a really difficult job. Most people don't like estate agents. They think they get frustrated with them. They don't think that they work hard enough. They think they're work shy, or they just get paid for doing nothing, just putting it on Zoopla or Rightmove. And that's not true. So I think again, that point of difference. How do you be? You're almost like the point of difference property investor in that you're nice, you treat them fairly, you engage with them on a personal level, and you're not just constantly talking about what you want. You're listening to what they've achieved and congratulate. For anyone listening, that is the way. That is absolutely the way to engage estate agents at all levels, be it the business owner right the way through to the part-time at weekends. It's brilliant. And you've extended that, haven't you, guys? Because you do what are they called? Is it study tours?
Discovery Days.
Discovery Days, that's the one. So tell us a bit about your Discovery Days.
Discovery Days came about that investors were getting in touch with us and basically didn't know the area, want to invest in Wales, haven't got the time. So what I decided to do was I put it out there that we'd book the viewings for them that fitted their strategy and budget.
Okay.
So we book between 5 and 7 viewings that actually fits their strategy and budget.
Okay.
That way then the investors come down, get in the car with me, and they're taking around doing viewings on them, and we put offers in on the day. So all the due diligence is done by me. Yeah. All the figures are done by me. All the comparables are done by me. The only thing we can't work out is the refurb cost. No. So we stick in a figure for the refurb cost to come up with a figure so we can offer, and it's been very successful. We've had one client that bought 2 houses on the Discovery Day, right next door to each other, well below market value, both on for £45,000. We got one for 37, one for 39, done up value £90,000 with the 15 grand on one and 25 grand on the other.
So they're all money out deals then?
Yeah.
Wow. And so you just pick, I assume, what, you pick them up from the train station, or they meet you somewhere, you go around the houses, you've pre-selected the houses that you've got that knowledge, that background knowledge of the areas where those properties are, so you can give a little bit of insight into the area, which properties work, which ones don't, and then you actually take them to the estate agent.
Yeah. And introduce them so they can do their own tour, and I lead them through. If they've never been on a viewing with an estate agent, I do all the chatting, as you know. And then all of a sudden, then on a few halfway through the day, then I'll get them to ask the question. So I'll actually prompt them as well and say, Have you asked the estate agent this? Have you asked them the done-up value? What's the rent? What's the demand in the area? So it's a learning curve for them as well.
That's much better, isn't it? Because you're not only getting property sourcing, which is essentially what that is, you know, a package deal, but you've seen it firsthand, but you're getting so much experience from that, because not only are you just given, it's not just a transaction, that you're giving the person some local knowledge, you're providing them with feedback on what they think of the area, but you're also, probably more important than anything else, you're introducing them to estate agents who could potentially source more properties with you and with them in partnership, but also could manage the properties as well in terms of rental management, and give an indicator as to where, you know, what the rental market is like. It's pretty good stuff, that.
The other thing is, I think every one of our clients has stayed in touch now, and Stephen's got this habit of making them accountable if they haven't bought something, or they're looking at something that's not their strategy. He's quite tough on them.
Yeah.
You know, they ring him up for advice. He's going, why haven't you bought this? Or why are you looking at that? It's not what you said was your strategy, you know? So yeah, we've made really good friends with most of our clients.
I suppose COVID is probably not the most helpful thing in the world when it comes to that at the moment. No. All things on hold. But yeah, you know,
I'm not the slightest either, John, with them. I must be honest, right? When they say, what was it? I'm looking at this and saying, it's not your strategy. Why the hell are you looking at it? Or I'm doing it this way. But it's done up. It's not dirty, smelly. It's wipe the feet on the way. Why are you looking at it? Yeah.
Well, people do that, don't they? You know, one of the phrases I hear quite often in property, and certainly with people who come to me for the data side of stuff and for research, it's the shiny penny syndrome. They get excited by something, or they get excited by an area, and they have to make the deal work. And in my experience, if you're working really hard to make the deal work, it isn't a deal. You're just buying a property. The deal works out of the box. You get that feeling when you go into a property. You've done your numbers. You go in, you check it. There's nothing substantially wrong with it. No substantial costs. The light bulb goes on, and you know it works. I think a lot of people lose sight of the importance of doing that, getting the feet on the ground, doing the background research, and making sure it works, rather than, oh, look, Steph, I've found this. Isn't it amazing? It's reduced. It's on for 90. I can get $2,000 off. Well, yeah, you've just then, like, you know, you can get 50% off. You can get 45, 50 grand off the value of a property through the relationships and the network that you've built. Yeah, I think a load of people could learn from that. So many people could learn from that. Yeah. What about your own properties then? What have you been up to with your own stuff?
So during lockdown, we had we bought a property at auction in December last year, which was a 5-bed semi-detached in Tonopandi.
5-bed.
5-bed, yeah. It was 4-bed plus a loft room.
Yeah.
It wasn't your usual completely run down. There was a tenant in it, but it needed a lot of TLC. So basically during lockdown, that kept us sane. Because the builders couldn't get there a lot, and they couldn't get some of the supplies, we went and did all the painting and decorating ourselves. So,
oh wow!
No, I'm sure a painter would normally have taken a week to do it. It took us 6.
But it's been done properly.
Yes, it was exactly. Every nook and cranny was filled in. It was beautiful. We fell in love with it. We almost moved in. But it really, really bucked the trend, because we bought it for 75. Mm-hmm. We spent 40 on it, and we just had it revalued at 160. So we took all our money out and some.
That's a bloody brilliant bit, because we're so similar in many ways. I quite like a big house. I quite like a big buy-to-let or single-let, depending on what terminology you use, because it's just so much easier to recycle your money, isn't it? You know, I bet that's beautiful inside that house.
So it was Victorian, so we made sure that all the features were back in. I mean, we kept arguing with our builder, because he kept going, it's a rental, and we're going, yes, but. You know, so we
do it well.
It had beautiful cut glass that she felt penned over the glass and stuff. So we took it all back. Even putting the knobs back on the banisters, just stuff like that to make it, and it's absolutely beautiful. And in fact, we're bucking a trend for rent. We're getting 725 for it, and our estate agent told us we'd get 800. And we thought, in Tonopandi, never. But apparently, 20 minutes after they put it on, they had 25 inquiries, and everyone said how cheap it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an awful lot of investors are missing a huge opportunity. If you look at supply and demand, there's plenty of supply of little 2-bedroom fixer-uppers and sort of 1-bedroom apartments. But you know, if you go to some areas where there is relatively high rental demand, I mean, not everybody has got 3 or 4 people in their family unit. Some people have 5 or 6. Some people want a bit more space, and there's nothing unless you're buying. There's absolutely nothing, and you can in many instances, and certainly looking at some of the data that I've looked at, in some areas, you are the market. If you create a 4 or a 5-bedroom property and you offer it to the rental market, there are no you are the only comparable. You decide the price. So I look at some of my 4-bed properties. They've gone. You have like 500 for a 2-bed in some areas, then you'll move to 600 for a 3-bed, and then you move from 600 to 850 for a 4-bed. And yet, you can buy them for not much more than the cost of a 3-bed. So I think a lot of people are sidelined or preoccupied with the small, cheap stuff, when the larger, still cheap, but not as cheap stuff works so much better from an investment perspective. And I bet your cash flow will be awesome on that as well.
Yeah, it is. And so talking about 4 bedrooms, we've just bought 2 other, we're just going through 2 other deals. Cool. 4-bedroom in Porth. We got for 60, should be worth 120.
Wow. Is that for yourselves, or have you sort of
No, that's again for it's actually next door to the primary school. So we're hoping to actually give that to Rhondda Cunningham Taft, because they just started a social housing team.
Okay.
So we might do that. So that's 5 years guaranteed rent at 90%. So we're contemplating doing that. We bought one in Tonopandi High Street. Treorchy High Street. And that's a 4-bed, and 3-bed, and we're turning it into 4, possibly a 5, depending on whether we go up in the loft.
Brilliant.
We bought that for 58, and it should be worth at least 140.
£58,000 for a potential 4-bedroom property.
Yeah.
But on that one, John, we think the estate agent undervalued it because it had structural problems. Right. He undervalued it, and when we purchased it, there were so many people viewing it. Jill went and looked at it and was on for 55, and we decided to get them out of the market because they were worried about it. We offered $3,000 more.
But we're still going to make 30. We're thinking of flipping it. We're still going to make 30-40 grand on it.
And that, again, that's another really good point. You just follow them. It's not always about getting a discount off the asking price. Sometimes it's about seeing the value in the property or the deal that no one else sees. So quite often buying at full asking prices is or above asking price to secure it is relevant. And I think as we move forward in these times, and things are just, we know that things are getting harder and harder to buy, and there's more and more people trying to invest. Plus, we're going to have first-time buyers come onto the market. If you see a deal and you know it works, why procrastinate over the sake of a couple of £1,000 when, as you just rightly said, put $3,000 in more than asking price, but what, 50 grand uplift? Who's the smarter cookie? Interesting. So you're pretty active then, even though we're locked down.
We actually haven't finished. We've also we're also trying to buy a large property in Merthyr at the moment that we're going to turn into a 7-bed HMO.
Ooh,
so
okay. HMOs at the moment. Have you got? Do you have HMOs in your portfolio?
Yeah, we've got a HMO in Manchester, Greater Manchester, that we actually gave to a Christian charity on a fully rent and repaired lease. So they actually put ex-homeless people in it. So, but all we pay, the only cost we pay there is the Sky. Everything else is paid for by the, and so.
Oh, they won't give them Sky. That's a bit hard, isn't it?
So it's the only thing we pay for. We don't pay any of the council tax, the utilities, or anything. So the charity pays for it.
Oh wow! So what's your HMO going to be? Is it going to be similar again, just for homeless, or you? No.
This is going to be different. We were speaking to talking about estate agents and our relationship. We spoke to an estate agents in Merthyr yesterday, and apparently they get a lot of inquiries for people who are working that want a 1-bedroom. Okay. Yeah, and the demand is very high. The supply is tiny at the minute. So the only problem we've got there at the moment is the estate agents refusing to take it off the market, even though we've offered asking price and they've accepted it. They're still putting viewings in. So we've just got to wait to see at the moment, whether we do go forward it or not, because we need to get architect's fees, obviously, and planning. And last year we lost 2 properties that way, and you know, it cost us money. So we're just biding our time to see. It's definitely for us. It's our company's called St Michael's Property Development, and this building's called St Michael's. So
All right, it's meant to be then.
we think it's karma.
Is it just a straight? Is it straight off the market, or is it a commercial sale where they leave it on until you exchange?
Yeah, it's probate, so they're going to try and leave it on to exchange. Yeah, but we've got our broker on the case, and we've already got offer in principle, so it's just a case of getting on. Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. I'm sure everyone's rooting for you on that one. Make sure we give you much support.
Yeah, but again, that's a huge property. It's only on for 110.
Yeah, don't say that though, because people might come and try and nick it off. And you just said what it's called now. We'll have to delay publishing this video for a couple of weeks.
Right. Just cut that out.
Yeah, edit, delete.
Edit, delete.
So you've taken redundancy. So you're full-time property now, Jill. How does that make you feel?
I'll be honest, I'm struggling because I have worked for 44 years in senior managerial roles, and I feel like a spare guest at a wedding at the minute. Working from home.
Be nice, please.
Working from home, sitting at a laptop all day trying to find properties is I'm just finding it very strange. But I suddenly realised how much work I used to do in the evenings on just our own property portfolio that I'm sort of doing during the day now in between viewing stuff. But I'll get there. I've got a couple of mentors. Camilla Wojcik is helping me with my service accommodation, and Jackie Edwards is helping me with rent to rent. So
2 good people there.
It's 2 great people. It's just a funny time in the market at the moment, you know. And what I do find is landlords just don't see the potential in having a corporate let, because for me, with Welsh Government saying, you know, the 6-month eviction at the moment, what better time for somebody to come along and say, I'll give you guaranteed rent, no voids, you haven't got to worry about smelly tenants, you know, because you're just dealing with me, and, you know, you're going to have a 3 to 5 year lease on it.
No, there's a lot of stressed out landlords of HMOs in certain areas as well. I mean, the student market is diabolical at the moment. I mean, nobody really knows what's happening. I did numbers pre-COVID. I think you were actually at the event that I did, and I said, you know what, we've got a big problem here. We're building too much purpose-built student stuff. We haven't seen a change in the number of HMO properties, and the number of students coming to the area, which I was talking about at the time, it's falling. So how can you be building more stock when you've got a falling university roll? You know, the count of students is falling, and now on top of that, we've got COVID, and you know, even best guess is it's going to take at least 3 to 6 months before we recover nationally, let alone internationally. And a lot of students are international students. They'll be frightened of coming. They won't want to come. So yeah, it's a volatile market. But then where there's volatility and uncertainty, there's opportunity. And I think you know, if you've got the right strategy, which it sounds like you've got nailed down there, there's a lot of opportunity to be sort of seized and money to be made. Money to be made in an ethical way as well. I always feel a bit awkward talking about making money, but you know, it is business at the end of the day. But we're providing homes to people who need them. So all these youngsters that are going to be, you know, finding it hard to get jobs, you know, entering the work market in difficult circumstances, we got to support them. If they need to live in a house of multiple occupation, an HMO, a shared house, then we need to make sure that they're really, we deliver a really great product to them. You know, don't put secondhand furniture in it. Do what you guys do what we do. You know, make them absolutely awesome inside, so people feel an element of pride living there.
Exactly. Well, we did that with our HMO in Manchester. I mean, everybody told us we were stupid, and even the charity said, please don't furnish this nicely, just, you know, we'll get them to get some second-hand bits. We wouldn't have it. So we put all new furniture, we put all the bed linen, towels, and we gave them all flat screen tellies. You know,
they're all in perfect condition still.
And they said, oh, don't put Sky in. I said, well, these are unemployed people who will have to look for work to get their benefit. How are they going to search for jobs without laptops or without a computer or without internet? So you know, so we provided all that, and as you say, we just went up there just when lockdown started to ease a little bit, to sort of just to check on the place, and it was still spotless.
And this is what, the media and certain charities who shall remain nameless really have to sort of stop doing what they're doing and stop trying to paint this picture of the private small landlord as this evil entity that is just out to rip people off and take advantage of people. No one else, media, government, charities, none of them are stepping in really and supporting those people who really need rental accommodation. It's the people like us. We're like the small corner shops, and yet we get treated as if we're like Walmart or Tesco, and we're not. We're just small independent businesses trying to give back to our community in the same way that a person in a corner shop does. Yes, they're more expensive because they have higher overheads, but they serve their community, and that's precisely what we do as well.
Yeah.
Sooner the media and sort of the people with the loud hailers understand that and realize that, and come and talk to some of our tenants, because my tenants, I love my tenants, and I hope they love what I do for them. And I'd never see any of my tenants suffer or struggle in any of my houses, and I know from working with you guys, you've totally aligned on that. You behave in exactly the same way, giving homeless people access to broadband. Well, who else is going to do that for them?
I mean, my dream is for us to work completely in social housing, but I'm finding it difficult at the moment. I'm trying to get into social housing in Newport. Now I've got a contact in Newport, but I can't find any houses. So that's I've got the chicken. I've got the chicken before the egg, or the egg before the chicken at the minute.
Well, there's no national policy on it at all, is it? I mean, no. I was looking at the housing needs analysis for a couple of local authorities, and realizing that each council does its own thing and does it slightly differently. And some are interested in property, and some aren't interested in property. Some are trying to buy property. Some are just totally in bed with large corporations. And I just think, do you know what? This is just silly, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, if you just got to strip out all that nonsense. The simple truth of the matter is there is property in most areas of the UK which is perfectly suited to regeneration and for repurposing, and in doing so we will prevent homelessness. When you take an empty property with brown swirly carpets and a 1960s bathroom, and you fix it, you present, you create it really. I don't know. A young family looking for their first home to settle into. What are you doing? You're doing the things that they can't do. I can afford to carpet a house. You can afford to carpet a house. They can't afford to carpet a house. No. So we're doing that for them, Could they dream of going down Magna or Wren or something like that and spending several £1,000s on a kitchen? No. So we do that for them. We make sure the property doesn't leak. We make sure that it's energy efficient. We make sure that it meets all the fire safety and HHSRS criteria. We do all these things, and then somebody goes, "Oh, you're just a greedy landlord."
Yeah.
No.
No, we're not. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's funny you should say that too, because the tenants can sometimes think like that. We had a tenant last year who we have let him stay and given him a stay of execution because he's kept forgetting to pay his rent, and then he got into trouble, then he got another job, then he got into trouble. And in the end, he did a moonlight flit and trashed the place. And yet we've been really kind to him for 3 years. But yeah, I mean, that you don't. Most of our tenants have been amazing. And the other thing, you get a lot of investors who refuse to have DSS. Well, one, that's illegal to say that these days with the Equalities Act 2010. Correct. And two, our best tenants have been DSS. Our worst tenant was an accountant.
Similar here. I've had some, should we say, professionals who were well paid but couldn't pick up a pack of crisps off the floor, let alone anything else. It was just. It's bizarre, isn't it? The perception versus the reality. And I know Ultimate Landlord, we talk about facts and evidence and all that sort of stuff, but it's not just us saying it. It's all the people who do a really good job and really care about our industry say the same thing. You guys know ethical property sourcing, helping investors, helping tenants, helping charities, helping local authorities, doing the right thing, making sure the properties are right, and getting very little in the way of thanks or recognition for it. I really hope that changes, guys. I really do.
Yeah, I do. And the demand out there for affordable housing and good, clean warm, safe housing. You know, I used to be CEO of domestic abuse charity, and still talking to my contacts there. They're desperate need of refugees.
Yeah.
You know, we'd love to do stuff like that. It's just finding the right property and having, you know, getting the go ahead from councils and, you know, charities to help us. You know,
where's the support? That's the question. You know, where
Yeah.
does the support come in? It's you know, it's just there's a lot of words and a lot of rhetoric, but the reality for us, the people who create this sort of stuff, is that the support for us is sporadic and limited at best, and at worst non-existent. It is frustrating, but we've got to stay positive. Hopefully this is all
absolutely. Yeah.
We'll change it. We'll do it.
Oh, we will, one step at a time.
Well, I mean, you know, certainly for anyone who's thinking about starting out in property and moving into property investment, or if you've been away for a while and coming back into it, I'm obviously going to say talk to us at Ultimate Landlord, because, you know, we act on fact, we act on evidence, we act on data, and we act on insight. But speak to Peacock Property Source as well. Speak to Steph, to Gill, because they absolutely understand what is happening in their local market, but what they do in their local market applies across the whole of the UK. The way in which they approach their business, their sourcing, and their ethical trading with property is a blueprint that everybody should follow. So if you've got the time, if you are involved with us in Ultimate Landlord, also find the time to reach out to Steph and to Gill. I'll put a link on this video so that you can get in touch and you can find out more as well. But I would encourage anyone, even if you just, you know, say hello. And Steph's got biscuits, so chocolate biscuits are available, and I believe he doesn't charge for them. So, you know, it's a little freebie there. Everyone likes something free in property, don't we? So no, thanks very much for coming on today, guys. It's really, it really is a pleasure talking to you. I love what you guys do, and I can't stress enough that if anyone has got the time to come to South Wales and spend a bit of time with us, if you're doing that, make sure you also book some time with Steph and Gill, because they're just such great people, great fun, and really knowledgeable. So thanks for joining me today, guys.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Take
Thank
care.
you very much.
Take care now. Bye.
God bless.
Thanks so much for joining me on today's podcast, and for being part of the new generation of property investors that act on fact and insight and data-led intelligence. I really want to talk to you, and I really want to share the experience that I've had and others in our movement have had. So please do reach out and talk to me and to the team and the community in Ultimate Landlord. We're really easy to find on social media. All you got to do is search for Ultimate Landlord and you'll find us. But you can also email us if you prefer. That's info@ultimate-landlord.com. All it remains to say, I'll see you in a future podcast, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us.